It's not every day you grow something poisonous in your garden with the intention of eating it.
This very good gut cleanse, okay? I know it looks like Pepsi Cola, but it's not. It's actually made out of rhubarb root.
Rhubarb root. Love rhubarb. I make a nice marmalade out of it and crostata, like a nice sweet. But it's very rich in antioxidants, improves digestion, can relieve constipation because of the amount of fibers, supports oral health, supports heart health, healthy cholesterol, and supports cancer prevention, supports kidney health, and can control appetite and achieve and balance your weight.
Is it really possible for a $1 root to offer potential benefits for conditions that modern medicine still struggles to address? Preliminary research suggests promising properties in cancer studies. A root with such potential has even been restricted in certain regions, sparking debates about its impact on healthcare markets. But how is it possible for an ancient remedy to surpass modern medicine? What healing secrets has this ancient medicinal root been hiding, and why has it been suppressed worldwide? Watch this video as we uncover everything about this root, from its rich history of saving over 500 million lives in China, and even the controversial ban in the West. This is the only video you need. The ancient legacy of rhubarb root. Rhubarb root, or as it's called in the native language, da huang, is one of the most ancient and best-known plants used in Chinese herbal medicine. And if you are wondering how old its history is, it was documented for the first time in the Divine Husbandman's classic of Materia Medica. This was a compilation of medical documents made in the later Han Dynasty around 200 AD. That's over 2,000 years.
Remnants there are kind of yellow, and the word in Chinese medicine, da huang, for the rhubarb root actually means big yellow. So if we put some of this in water, you'll see it's really quite yellow in color, like a dark golden color there.
Moreover, it was also listed in medical texts as a superior herb. This category wasn't just given to any herb. You see, these herbs weren't just used for treating symptoms like fevers or pains. They were believed to increase the body's core vitality and extend life itself. The Chinese herbalists described rhubarb root as having the power to purge evil qi. They believed that qi is the vital life force that flows throughout the universe. According to them, it is the unseen energy that flows through all things, both in the macro and micro elements of the universe. When qi is in balance, one experiences health, stability, and inner calmness. While doctors would describe these effects as anti-inflammatory or detoxification, ancient practitioners saw them as restoring balance. They used it to treat fevers, infections, digestive issues, and even mental health conditions. But this herb wasn't restricted to the Chinese borders. During the Tang Dynasty, it became a core export item along the famous Silk Road. It made its way to Persia, where the locals called it rheum, and then it reached the West as well. The European herbalists used it as a laxative and diuretic to treat kidney stones, gout, and liver diseases characterized by jaundice.
Rhubarb is a real superfood when it comes to fixing constipation. It's been used for thousands of years in Chinese medicine for this specifically. There are now cell studies, mice studies, rat studies, human studies, double-blind placebo-controlled studies show the effectiveness of rhubarb as an extract, as a food, and even as a salve applied, you ready, to the belly button area. Yeah.
They also used it externally to heal skin sores and scabs. And if you are in for a fun fact, it was also used as a treatment for toothaches. So it's fair to say they categorized it as a superior herb. The healing powers behind the root. So how does it work? Well, to answer that, we're going to take a brief biochemistry lesson. The healing power behind these roots comes from their high concentration of bioactive compounds. These compounds include anthraquinones, tannins, and flavonoids, to name a few. From these bioactive compounds, anthraquinones, including imodin and rhene, stand out the most. These compounds are characterized by their aromatic properties and show significant anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial activity. Inflammation is a key response of your body's defense system. Still, if it's prolonged, it can lead to many chronic diseases, such as arthritis, cardiovascular diseases, and diseases of other organs. You see, these compounds inhibit the inflammatory response by blocking inflammatory enzymes like the COX enzyme and suppress the cellular messengers that promote inflammation. But the magic doesn't end here. Emodin also disrupts the metabolism of cancer cells, which researchers believe may offer potential as a complementary treatment by targeting cancer cells in laboratory settings, while minimizing harm to normal tissues. Moreover, these compounds also suppress the formation of blood vessels in tumors, so their nutrient supply is blocked as well. This way, it may inhibit nutrient supply to tumors, potentially slowing their growth. Additionally, it promotes the process of apoptosis, which is also called programmed cell death in simpler terms. They achieve this effect by activating enzymes that are essential for initiating cell death and by disrupting the mitochondrial processes, which trigger the sequence of cell death. If you still doubt its broad-spectrum healing abilities, consider that it also detoxifies your body, regenerates your organs, and fights cellular aging. The ancient herbalists probably meant this when they said this root possesses the ability to purge evil qi. The root contains tannins and senosides, which promote gut motility and help the body eliminate waste faster. They also promote the healing ability of the liver and kidneys, which are responsible for detoxification. These organs are constantly under oxidative stress, and antioxidants help reduce this load by fighting free radicals. Lastly, this antioxidant property also protects your body at the cellular level. The free radicals that are released due to metabolic activities can damage the DNA and affect the mitochondria as well. By taking care of them, this root effectively delays the aging of your cells.
The antioxidants in rhubarb were found in studies to boost cognitive activity and reduce inflammation in the brain, thus preventing disorders like Alzheimer's and strokes. Rhubarb also contains antioxidants which help protect the eyes and skin from free radical damage.
Success stories from Chinese hospitals. Now, if you don't want to take our word for it, you should check out these success stories from Chinese hospitals that use this root for a wide range of health issues. In one case, a patient arrived at the hospital with severe gastrointestinal bleeding. At first, the doctors tried to stop the bleeding with conventional methods, but that didn't help at all. That's when doctors prepared a concentrated rhubarb root solution and asked the patient to drink it. Within a few hours, the bleeding stopped, and when they checked it through an endoscope, they were surprised to find an overall reduction in inflammation. Not only that, they also found a protective coating over the affected tissue. We mentioned the organ healing abilities of this root a little while ago, and Chinese hospitals really love it. At a liver transplant center in Shanghai, it is often used as a temporary treatment for patients waiting for a transplant. There have also been many studies that show the use of this herb for patients who had liver issues, and how they recovered faster than patients who weren't given this herb. During the COVID-19 pandemic, some anecdotal reports from practitioners suggested this root was used as part of supportive care. While some believe it may have aided in detoxification and organ support, there is limited scientific evidence to confirm its effectiveness in treating COVID-19. Research into its potential benefits continues, highlighting the need for further studies.
And here's this beautiful rhubarb. You guys can grow it too. It's great for colon health. And we all know we all need better colon health, right? And it's also it's good for constipation.
Cellular regeneration and organ healing. We've been talking about its healing abilities a lot, but what really sets this herb apart is its ability to heal damaged organs and not just manage the symptoms. This is particularly useful if you like to drink a lot. You see, while drinking is fun and addictive, it takes a huge toll on your liver. While the liver is the only organ that can regenerate completely, you shouldn't test its limits since the damage can become irreversible. Chronic damage from alcohol, fatty liver disease, or viral infections can cause liver cirrhosis. That's where this root comes in. Studies have shown that rhubarb root possesses a strong hepatoprotective effect, which primarily protects the liver from oxidation, fibrosis, cirrhosis, liver failure, hepatocellular carcinoma, and various types of hepatitis. Studies also show that it promotes the production of growth factors, which are important for cell repair. In a study published in the Journal of Cellular Medicine, researchers revealed that patients with chronic liver diseases who used rhubarb root showed a 30% faster regeneration rate of liver tissue than those who used conventional medicines. If you are diabetic or have chronic kidney disease, you might be either on dialysis or in need of a transplant. This root helps treat this condition by reducing inflammation in the kidneys and preventing the leakage of proteins into the urine, which is a common marker for kidney damage. Moreover, in diabetic patients, it lowers blood sugar levels as well, which protects the kidneys indirectly. Why it's restricted in the UK? Now, why is it that a herb so potent and life-saving is banned in a developed country like the UK? The answer lies at the junction of politics and medicine. You see, in 2023, the UK banned the cultivation as well as the selling of this root, saying that it's an invasive species that spreads too quickly and harms the surrounding botanical ecosystem. But there's more to it. One of the biggest reasons behind this ban was its potential to disrupt the income of pharmaceutical companies. Since it's natural and widely available, it's extremely cheap and doesn't require much effort or resources to be used as a medicine. This was something that these companies obviously disliked. I mean, take the example of insulin. Back in 1923, it was patented for just $1. And the people who discovered it said, "Insulin does not belong to me. It belongs to the world." And what happened to it? The pharmaceutical companies took it and monetized people's survival needs, creating a whole market out of it. If you are looking for profit, sure, we understand that. After all, you are running a business. But if you check its price, which peaked in 2019 at a whopping average of $541, you'll clearly see where the interests of these companies lie. So, if there's a herb that is life-saving and cheap, these companies will push for its ban for sure. In the case of the UK, first, they said that the plant is invasive. Then, they claimed it's toxic and alleged that it contains compounds like anthraquinones that can cause toxicity. While it's true that excessive consumption can lead to side effects, it seems suspicious that they only ban herbal medicines. You could apply the same concept to pharmaceutical drugs as well, since they can also cause harm if taken incorrectly.
Rhubarb is a plant whose stalk is often used in pies, muffins, cakes, and although rhubarb is botanically a vegetable, it's classified as a fruit here in the United States. Their leaves contain high levels of oxalic acid, which is a corrosive and acidic substance that can lead to kidney failure and even death. And I stressed high levels because other healthy vegetables like broccoli and spinach also have oxalic acid and are just fine for us.
If you analyze this issue deeper, it's clear that Western medical research has a bias against natural remedies like rhubarb root. These treatments might have a rich history of medicinal success, but are often dismissed as unscientific or primitive. This not only ignores centuries of evidence supporting its safety, but also shows cultural bias favoring Western medicine over traditional healing practices. Emergency medicine applications. Returning to the herb's healing properties, it also works great in emergencies. In such situations, there is a lack of time, and this herb counters this issue thanks to its rapid action. Its compounds are absorbed quickly, and it can be used in many critical situations. Thanks to its detoxifying properties, this herb can be used in cases of poisoning and toxic overload. Whether it's drug overdoses or heavy metal poisonings, this herb promotes gastric movement and helps your body expel these harmful substances. Doctors perform this process through gastric lavage, which is significantly more expensive. We've already discussed how this herb helped a patient with internal bleeding, which was an emergency. Similarly, this root works amazingly in conditions like sepsis. Sepsis is a life-threatening condition in which the body's immune response to infection spirals out of control, causing critical organ failure. To fight against it, the root reduces inflammation, clears bacterial toxins, and supports vital organ function. Plus, it simultaneously regenerates damaged organs, which makes it particularly useful in emergency cases. Documented clinical success. Moving on, let's check out the scientific studies and trials that prove the usefulness of this herb. One of these studies investigated the use of traditional medicinal plants to treat emerging and re-emerging viral diseases in northern Nigeria. One herb mentioned in this study was rhubarb root, which was used to treat conditions like hepatitis. Another study in China revealed that the herb protects the liver. In this study, over 200 participants with alcoholic liver disease were divided into two groups. One group received standard medical treatment, and the other received a rhubarb root extract as a supplement alongside the treatment. Guess which group showed better results? According to their findings, those in the group that received the root showed a 40% greater reduction in liver inflammation and fibrosis markers.
I really love rhubarb. It's one of the things that I love working with.
Same.
Again. It goes great with ginger, apples, citrus, all that sort of stuff. Just be careful you don't ever want to eat the leaves, because they are poisonous.
Great tip
They'll
to
make
put
you
out
very
there.
sick.
The fight to suppress its use. Despite this much research, the West tries to suppress it through misinformation and discrediting natural remedies. The industry's business model relies on patients and exclusive rights to treatments. Since natural remedies cannot be patented, these big companies don't get monopolies on their healing properties. Imagine a $1 root with potential benefits for supporting liver and kidney health, and showing promise in ongoing cancer research. Some people question why natural remedies with potential benefits are often overlooked compared to higher-cost pharmaceutical treatments. One study examined the difference in media coverage of herbal remedy trials versus conventional pharmaceuticals. In its conclusion, the authors said, one study highlighted how media coverage may not always provide sufficient information for the public to make informed decisions about medical treatments. And if you compare that with how they also banned other natural medicines like turmeric and cannabis, you would see a similar pattern. Some advocates argue that the focus on rare side effects in studies may overshadow the potential benefits of natural treatments, sparking ongoing debates within the health community. DIY rhubarb remedies and risks. The question remains, why don't they just explain to people how and when to use it safely? And if governments aren't going to tell you, then don't worry. That's what we are here for.
Let's talk about rhubarb root. Now, you're probably familiar with rhubarb, used in rhubarb pies and things like that. Well, that's the stalk of the rhubarb plant. That's the edible part. The leaves of rhubarb are toxic, so we don't eat those. And the roots of rhubarb, and it's usually specific varieties grown in China and Turkey, for example, the roots of rhubarb plant are used for digestive issues in traditional Chinese medicine.
If you are interested in making it a part of your diet, you can consume it by making tea, a tincture, or even topical poultices. Plus, you could even eat it raw, blend it into a smoothie, cook it into a rhubarb-based jam, or make it a part of your baked goods. If you want to make tea, boil 1 teaspoon of dried rhubarb root in a cup of water for 10 to 15 minutes. Then, strain the tea and drink it while it's warm. This tea is really helpful if you are looking for a mild detox drink or if you have digestive issues. Next, if you want to make a tincture, you'll have to soak the root in alcohol for 4-6 weeks, remembering to shake the container daily. Once it's ready, strain it and store it in a dark bottle. These tinctures are highly concentrated and ideal for chronic conditions. Lastly, if you are looking for a topical application, a poultice is your best option. To make one, grind the dried root into a powder and mix it with water to make a paste. Next, you can either apply it directly to a wound or inflamed area, or place it onto a piece of cloth and wrap it around your wound site. Safe dosage and precautions. Now we move on to the next question, which is how much you can consume safely. If you are starting out, start with small doses that do not exceed 300 to 500 milligrams of dried root per day. Monitor how your body responds to it, and if you experience good results, you can start taking it regularly. Also, if you want to take it frequently, you should consult with a healthcare professional first. This is because excessive consumption can have toxic effects. If you are breastfeeding or pregnant, this root should be avoided since it may be unsafe for both the mother and the baby. Moreover, if you have gastrointestinal issues like bowel obstruction, appendicitis, unexplained stomach pain, Crohn's disease, or IBS, you should stay clear of this herb. Plus, it might also have an unwanted effect if you are taking certain medications. For example, if you are on blood thinners like warfarin, rhubarb root may intensify its effect. That's why it's really important to talk to a doctor before you make it a part of your diet. What this means for modern medicine. If this plant is good for you, your doctor should not stop you from using it. We've come a long way as humans and have state-of-the-art tools at our disposal to fight against diseases. Yet, we are sometimes confronted with diseases that we aren't prepared for. That's why it might be useful to integrate ancient medicine with modern treatments. That's what China is doing with this root by making it a part of its hospital protocols. They understand that natural remedies can complement modern treatments rather than compete with them. This way, they are prepared for unexpected situations like the pandemic we went through a few years ago. Rhubarb root in the age of superbugs. Speaking of pandemics and world health crises, another issue this root addresses is the fight against antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which are often referred to as superbugs. Due to the overuse of antibiotics, we now face a huge problem: bacteria that are stronger than the medicines we have at hand. If they go out of control, we might be looking at another pandemic.
When we don't take antimicrobials like antibiotics as prescribed, it increases drug resistance. This can make infections harder to treat, leading to more costs, longer hospital stays.
Lucky for us, we have this plant in excess, which can fight against these superbugs. Tannins in rhubarb roots weaken bacterial cell walls, which makes it easier for our immune system to fight them. Moreover, it prevents the bacteria from forming a biofilm, which is a protective layer that shields the bacteria from antibiotics. This makes them more vulnerable to the drugs and easier to fight off. This is why more research must be done on this herb. However, that's only possible if there's enough public demand for it. And that's where you come in. You should help spread awareness about suppressed natural remedies on any platform you are on. Only then will there be a potential to integrate rhubarb root into healthcare on a global scale. This humble $1 root has proven its worth through centuries of use and millions of lives saved. Its limited availability raises questions about access to natural treatments and highlights the ongoing debate over the integration of traditional remedies into modern healthcare. What do you think about rhubarb root's healing potential and its controversial ban? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more untold health discoveries.